Thus spoke Buddha. I am content. Thus spoke Lao Tzu. I am content. Thus spoke Confucius. I am content. Along came the marketeers of 21st century with their magical Pandora's box, with all the material possessions that could adorn your shelves with which you could adorn yourself. Now, how do you sell these trinkets? You push it across all forms of media and all possible forms of content, promising fulfillment and contentment. And thus spoke the marketeers of 21st century. Content is king. But the kings themselves were never content. Alexander the Great, during one of his conversations with his philosophical mentor Aristotle, was asked by the latter what his plans for future were. Alexander replied, "I'll capture this piece of land." And then, asked Aristotle. Alexander replied, "I'll capture that piece of land." And then, asked Aristotle. Alexander replied, "I'll capture so and so piece of land." And then, asked Aristotle. "Then I shall retire in peace," replied Alexander. "Then why wait? Why don't you retire in peace now, Alexander?" admonished Aristotle. Aristotle was a teleologist. Telos means end and logos implies meaning. Thus, teleology is an explanation for end objective. It was fair enough for Aristotle to question Alexander. If the end objective is to retire in peace, then why wage war? After all, these two are polar opposites, war and peace, isn't it? Now, Alexander might have responded that it will take him a series of wars to realize the meaning of peace. This might sound absurd. Ironically, this is how we humans behave and falter and learn all the time. It takes us one physical or mental breakdown to start caring for our own health. It takes us demise of a dear one to start caring for other close ones. It takes us one pandemic to understand and start caring for nature. It takes one racist instance to bring us together against the ills in the society. It took Kalinga War for Ashoka the Great to realize the futility of war. Kalinga War, considered as one of the bloodiest battles in Indian history, filled Ashoka with remorse and guilt. In this time of agony, Ashoka turned to Buddhism, embraced Ahimsa and Dhamma. The three Asian spiritual leaders, Buddha, Lao Tzu and Confucius, had one thing in common. They all urged men to inculcate the ability to be content by letting go of excessive desires. Such an attachment to these desires and cravings, as per Lord Buddha, are the reason for one's suffering. Ashoka was inspired by Buddhism so much so that he sent emissaries to proselytize Buddhism beyond the borders. He had edicts inscribed with teachings from Buddhism and from his own experience. Next 40 years under his reign were non-expansionist, filled with peace, harmony and prosperity. I spoke about two of the greatest emperors to have walked the earth, and their respective mentors, two of the greatest philosophers to have graced the earth, a teleologist and other a Buddhist. So how does teleologism and Buddhism fit in the scheme of things, that is minimalism? The human life is ephemeral and it takes a lot of soul searching to define an end objective for oneself. Say you're able to do it. Say you're able to define an end objective, the ultimate objective. Let's take the example of Alexander the Great. If your end objective is to retire in peace, you won't go out there slaying people, spilling blood and filling streets with corpses. There is no way you're going to retire in peace with that. The right way to go about it is to develop compassion, empathy and gratitude. It's a great universal objective humans can have. Let's take another example with a time-bound constraint. Good thing about time bounding is that it enables one to take swift decisions. Say your objective for year-end is to qualify for a triathlon. To achieve that, you'll align your time, energy and resource in this direction. Along comes an advertisement for a new model of automobile. No matter how lucrative it sounds, You know that it does not fit in your year-end objective. You are busy developing your swimming, cycling, and running capabilities. You are a two-wheel man and a man of will. You don't have time and resource for a four-wheeler. Better spend it for hiring a professional to train you. Along comes an offer to party, drink, and fool around. No matter how exciting it sounds, you know it does not fit in your year-end objective. No more eating sumptuous meals at a 5-star restaurant. You'd rather eat clean and right for your body to develop the strength for your end objective. That's teleologism for you. Well, a lot of consumption is a matter of affordability. If you're not able to afford the desired object, your craving will grow to acquire it. That's where Buddhist practice of inculcating the art of curbing desires, or tanhas as termed by Buddha, comes in. Tanhas are the reason for one's sorrows, or dukhha. With practice and meditation, one can safeguard their senses from indulgence that are detrimental to one's end objective. There's a two-pronged approach of Buddhism and teleologism. Now, my end objective for this channel is to grow and for the people to grow with it. For that, I need to keep creating thought-provoking discourses. It is quite possible that this channel does not grow at the desired rate. Yet my job is to focus less on growth element and more on adding value to whomsoever my listener is. And your job, though not a compulsion, if you are benefiting from this channel, is to subscribe and spread the word with the world. Share this channel with your loved ones, cause I believe it will be valuable to them. I wish you next 40 years and more of peace, harmony and prosperity as were in Ashoka's reign. Signing off with this discourse by Lord Buddha as in Dhammapada. Thus spoke Buddha. There is no satisfying sensual desires even with the rain of gold coins. For sensual pleasures give little satisfaction and much pain. Having understood this, the wise man finds no delight even in heavenly pleasures. The disciple of the Supreme Buddha delights in the destruction of craving.